Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig and Mad River Outfitters of the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another one of our Q&A series. You know, I say it every time, but thanks for all the questions, friends. Make sure you send them over to email, not social media. I don't really go there. If you send them to email, they come right here to the shop. And we throw them in a folder and get to them as quick as we can. Thanks for your patience. We are getting to them. It may take us a little bit of time, but anyways, let's jump right in. We'll make this pretty quick today. But Jack Walsh comes to us from Fergus, Ontario, a little north of the border. And Jack says, "Hi, I'm a 13-year-old boy living in a small town in Ontario with an awesome river called the Grand River." Jack, we know the Grand. We fish the Grand. That's a great place to be, man. I wanted to ask you, have you fished Canadian rivers? And what is your favorite fly to use or most successful? Thanks for this awesome new series, and I hope you picked my question. So Jack, we have picked your question. Yes, we've certainly fished in Canada quite extensively. We've run trips up there over the years, and we do quite a bit of fishing in Canada, and certainly have fished the Grand River. And as you know, the Grand has a variety of different species of fish and gets some run of some anadromous fish. So Jack, before I can really answer your question, I would need to know for what? What are you fishing for? So if you want to follow up and let me know what you're fishing for, I'll see if I can't get you a specific answer. Because if you're trout fishing, you understand it's going to be maybe a one fly. If you're fishing for the salmon or a steelhead or what have you that run in the Grand, it might be a slightly different answer. But I am going to give you an answer today because I think it's kind of what you're digging for. And I want to talk to you about some of my favorite flies that I use anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter, to be honest with you, it really doesn't matter the fish. So here we go. I think that this fly, which is called the Swimmy Jimmy, I think the Swimmy Jimmy is possibly the greatest fishing fly ever developed. Hands down. Sabota, you're gonna have to look on our website. I'm sure there's a link right down there. I can't remember his first name. Kevin? I apologize, but Kelly Gallup first turned me on to this fly. In fact, I think Sabota, the kid that designed this fly, was working for Kelly at the time and designed this right there at the slide in. I could be wrong about that. But anyways, Kelly turned me on to this fly. And I'm telling you, I have caught everything, smallmouth, largemouth. It's one of my favorite trout flies. It's just amazing. It's tied sideways. It's got the articulated tail hanging down here. So it imitates perfectly a wounded or dying bait fish, how they'll hang on the surface like this. And then you tie it on a loop knot with a sink tip fly line or a full sinking line, and it wobbles just like a crankbait and then floats back up in that dying or wounded profile. Simply, in my estimation, one of the greatest fishing flies ever developed. We used to carry it in a couple of different colors. We've just settled on this kind of bass, or I think they refer to it as a rainbow trout. I look at it more as a bass because this is my top largemouth fly, my top smallmouth fly, and probably my top trout fly. It comes in two sizes. I don't remember what they're referred to. You'll have to check our website. But here's the little mini version, which is awful cute. And I do fish this one for trout around here. I'm usually fishing the big one for largemouth, smallmouth, and what have you, but absolutely deadly fly. Another fly that everybody has to have is called the Barely Legal. This is, I believe this is one of the greatest contributions that Kelly Gallup has made to our sport, and trust me, that's many. Kelly's hands down one of the most influential fly tyers, authors, and of course he's been a great friend to us here at Mad River Outfitters, and one of my dearest friends and mentors. But anyways, Kelly developed a fly called the Barely Legal. This thing is absolutely wicked. Kelly will tell you the same thing. His guides will tell you the same thing. The Barely Legal goes everywhere with me. It doesn't matter what I'm fishing for. I don't know that I've fished this in the salt, but I think I just had an idea. I'm going to change up the hook, and I'm going to tie these and throw these in the salt coming up this season. A bigger version of that, no reason it wouldn't catch a redfish all day long. Those come in 2 colors on our website. It comes in the kind of the baby bass or the baby rainbow, and then the gray color. Again, Kelly Gallup's Barely Legal, you got to have that one. That does have a cone head, so if you don't have a sinking tip line and you just got a floating fly line, you can throw that no problem, add a little split shot to the tippet, you're fine. And then this is our #1 selling fly in the shop here this season. It's called the Bangtail or the Mini Bangtail. And these things are a progression of Kelly's T&A Bunker series. And these are the new Bangtails, the latest, greatest version. And this is an absolutely wicked fishing fly. Again, I don't care what you're fishing for. You got to have this fly. If you don't have a sinking tip fly line and you need something a little bit heavier, of course, the #1 selling streamer, I believe, of all time, and right here in this color, the Black Sex Dungeon. The Sex Dungeons and now the Mini Dungeons, the cute little versions of them. I'm more of a fan of the original Dungeon. I like big articulated flies, just like Kelly. So the original Sex Dungeons is what I carry, although the Minis are awful cute and they're selling really well here in the shop. So I guess for a 13-year-old boy, we should just call this a dungeon. I apologize about that. But there's the Dungeon. Absolutely #1 selling streamer of all time, must have, especially if you don't have a sinking tip, although you can throw it on a sink tip, of course, and really get down deep. So, Jack, if you want to chime in and let me know specifically what you're fishing for in the Grand, I'm assuming it's trout. I'm assuming you also have some smallmouth around there, which you do. Here's just some of my top picks. Don't leave home without these streamers. And of course, you can find them at madriveroutfitters.com. But we're going to go ahead and get you out a hat and a fly box. Jack, happy that we picked your question, man. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And keep up the good work, man. We love seeing youngsters like yourself fly fishing. Okay, next up on the list. Let's see here. Need a little help. Daniel O'Brien from Franklin, Pennsylvania. Says, I'm new into the fly fishing world and just getting started. A lot of my buddies tell me I should run a heavier line on my rod so I can get the feel of the technique of casting. In other words, like putting a 5-weight line on a 4-weight rod. But so many people online say not to do this. Why? And there we go again, slammers. Maybe that was our last episode, but in capital letters, we call that slammers. Big slammers, why? What's your opinion? And is there a type of rod that would be better for me to start with, like a bamboo rod? Because there's so many choices. Okay, a couple questions here. And this is one, we get this a lot. And yes, I do have an opinion on this. And my opinion has changed a little bit over the years. I was always kind of a proponent of the fact that if the manufacturer that makes the rod, whether it's Sage or Loomis or TFO, whoever, if they say it's a 5-weight, I think you should trust the manufacturer. They built the thing. It's a 5-weight. Throw a 5-weight on it, okay? I think for general application, general fishing, when you're actually fishing, that's what you should do. But there is actually nothing wrong with overlining a rod. In fact, this is my teaching rod. This is a rod that Lefty gave us many years back from TFO. It's called the instructor rod, and it's specifically designed for teaching. And yes, I do overline this with, it's a 7-weight rod, and I overline it with an 8-weight. I also go with this orange line. You can get the orange line from Cortland, makes the flip pallet line. That's going to be for warm water or salt water. Or Royal Wolf also makes their triangle taper in orange. I get a lot of people asking me about the orange fly line. Not only do I teach with the orange fly line, I fish with the orange fly line whenever possible. That's something that Flip taught us years back. And I always fish an orange fly line if I can. But yes, I put an 8-weight on here on the 7-weight. And what that does is it overloads the rod. In other words, it bends the rod more. I.e., it's going to make the action a little bit slower, but I have seen it countless times help a beginner feel the rod load and unload. There is no question that for learning, this can be a benefit. No question, and there's nothing wrong with it. So your friends that are telling you not to do this, I think they're wrong. It can, if you're struggling with learning how to cast, overlining can help you. Now, let's take a step back again. When it comes time to fish, I would not do that, okay? This 8-weight on the 7-weight rod, it changes the action to where it's not what I would want to fish with a 7-weight. So if I'm going to fish this rod, I'm definitely going to fish it with a 7-weight on it. Again, I'm back to the manufacturer's recommendation, what they built the rod for, okay? For fishing purposes, what would happen is, first of all, the actions become a little too slow for me to actually deliver a fly and fish it. And then it's also going to splat down on the water a little too much with that 8-weight. So for practice purposes and teaching, I do put an 8 on a 7. No problem. You can do it. I would say that the issue would be, do you want to run out and buy a 6-weight line for your 5-weight just to learn how to cast? I'll have to leave that up to you, Daniel. But there's nothing wrong with doing it for practicing and to really get the feel of what the fly rod does. But when it comes to fishing, I wouldn't do it. There's really no reason to do it. And if you're really struggling with casting, get some professional help. Okay, go watch our episode 14. Stay tuned here as we have a lot more coming in the spring on fly casting. Or get to a local pro shop and find somebody that can give you lessons and help you with that. And maybe they'll have a rod that's overlined, again, which I do like for teaching. And then you don't have to make that investment in that extra line just for practicing. Okay, Daniel, you also asked about what's the best rod for you, and I wanted to make sure to address that. I'm going to refer you back to episode 3, I think it is, in our Getting Started in Fly Fishing program, where I talk about rod action. Go back and watch that, but let's review. In that, I talked about a slow action rod. Oh God, that's a very slow action rod, where it bends all the way down into the butt section, okay? Or a full flex, and excuse the horrible rendition there. Or a mid-flex rod is going to bend about halfway down, and you might call that a medium action. And a tip flex rod is going to be a fast action, tip flex, or referred to as fast action rod, okay? In general, what we have found in our 30 years of teaching fly fishing here at Mad River Outfitters and through the Midwest fly fishing schools, I really believe that somewhere in this ballpark, in the medium to medium fast action rods, is going to be best for you as a beginner, okay? In episode 3, you heard me say that a very slow action rod is going to be a specialty rod. I don't recommend it for you as a beginner. A super fast action rod is also going to be a specialty type rod, probably not the best for you to learn on. I want you to be in a medium to a medium fast action rod, okay? You also asked about bamboo, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I do not recommend that you learn fly casting on a bamboo fly rod. Bamboo is great. I've got a couple myself that I enjoy fishing on occasion, but it is not the right tool for a person getting started in fly fishing to learn to cast on, nor to fish with. It's a very specialized tool. Get yourself a modern graphite rod. Get the best rod that you can afford. You want it to be a medium to medium fast action. The good news is a lot of your entry-level kits, most of them are medium to medium fast action anyway. So if you're on the lower price ballpark, which is fine, you don't have to get an expensive fly rod to get out there and get started in fly fishing. Don't believe the hype or the marketing or the advertising. Seek out professional help. talk to somebody that works in a fly shop that you trust, that you don't feel is just trying to sell you something. You know, and for that matter, if you do have questions, pick up the phone and give us a call here, okay? Call the shop here, talk to myself, Pat, Andy, Ryan, anybody that works here. They're gonna steer you in the right direction, not to try to sell you, you know, a $500 rod to get started with. It's not necessary. So again, medium to medium fast action is where you wanna be. Graphite for sure over bamboo. So Daniel, we do have your address here. We appreciate the question, and we're gonna get you out a hat and a fly box. And as always, thanks for watching. So folks, thanks for tuning in as always. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned, we've got tons more coming at you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to madriveroutfitters.com, and pick up the phone and call me if you have any questions. We're always here to help. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe. It helps out a lot. And check out these videos. We think you might like them too.